It seems like many game companies are really going down the path of self-destruction because with how many people are making noise on the internet and the way the response by the game company just made them feel out of touch. Hello there, how's today? I'm Ame Gakita there. So obviously today random chat we are going to talk about game company and mostly it's actually show how their response are just so bad to the point that it really made you really wonder like what were they even doing? And even more so on the question that I have to ask them is that are they even doing proper marketing research? Because when you kind of look at a lot of games nowadays, especially like the so-called the AAA game or so-called whatever, they always kind of like include DI, which to me I kind of like talk about it is fine and all fun as long as the story makes sense, the character is relatable. I think that's fine. But it's just that when you have like the voice actor who did the voice over, or when the game, some of the developer are defending this kind of behavior, yeah, you really have to ask yourself like who are their target audience. So the thing is, right, we have to start out with Naughty Dog, right? I'm not sure why they decided to call themselves the Naughty Dog, but then again, what am I to talk about? So the thing is, right, they kind of like have a new game where they put up the trailer in the Game Award back then, and they called the game called Intergalactic, which is about some sort of like shooting or some sort of action game along the line, which I have no idea, but it is still a game trailer. And it's really kind of like funny because the reason why a lot of people bash on it was because it's not just because they have anime in the game, it's not because they call it a AAA game, but because of their so-called main character who is a bold, black, muscular woman. Well, I'll be damned, how many times have we seen this kind of path? So the thing is, right, when you kind of like want to cater to anime lover, or when you call it a AAA game, you want to cater to the majority of the gamer base. Yeah, the thing is, right, when you kind of like release a character that is already kind of like being bashed by many people, obviously it just begs the question like, did the game company understand that who are their target audience? And I kind of like did that in the previous random chat where I kind of like say that don't judge a game yet. I'm not saying like that everyone wants to start attacking the game or whatever. It's just that I mentioned in that video that give it a wait and see approach. It's fine, all fun and game. If by then, if you don't like the game, don't buy the game. If the game is what you like, then by all means go ahead. And I also kind of like highlight in my live stream for a lot of time. The reason why I go with that logic is because the reason why there is a question about the target audience is that majority of the gamers base is about people who love AAA games or people who love anime. So the thing is that when you add DI to it, obviously it kind of like beg the question that how many people out there belong to that group, people who enjoy that DI. And the thing is, right, a lot of DI always end up with the game story being bad. There is like questionable about the so-called the binary stuff along the line, and then there is also the question about why some of the game always glitches because they never do a proper game testing. So the thing is, right, when you go and have so many issues with game itself and so-called many of the game that is being released over the years, obviously you have to bet the question, is Naughty Dog game gonna flop? Well, probably if they kind of like showcase with how the way they react, yeah, I mean like I won't be surprised when you have the game trailer being so-called with like receiving 524% more dislike than Concord, which is amazing, you know, in its own way. Or even when the so-called voice actor decided to showcase a very questionable image where you're trying to indicate that the game is about DI, you use the I word, which they claim that is a bad word on their end, and yet they use it all to taunt the gamer's base. So obviously when you have this kind of people going around attacking, and it's kind of funny that the person who posted that deleted it, the one who shared it, the voice actor also deleted it. Yeah, it really kind of like begs the question like, what's the point? Because the thing is, at the end of the day, when you go and highlight that the target audience is not the bigger body, it's just that less than 1% base, yeah, you really can't really blame anyone from not buying the game. And at the end of the day, if no one buying the game is gonna flop because they are not going to pay back the money. The money that is due, like the company rental, the developer costs, to the investor, or even hell, you have to pay the salary to the employees. So the thing is, right, when you kind of like consider all this at the end of the day, you can't blame anyone for not buying the game when your game company, employees, or anyone else is attacking the customer or the potential customer that is going to buy the game. So even if you say that there is going to be the character is going to be so-called relatable or what's not, which I have been saying that it's fine to add DEI as long as it's acceptable. Yeah, I kind of like need to like wondering like, is game company really understanding about the issue on that? Do they understand what I meant by acceptable? It's really one of the things that why a lot of like questionable character in the Japanese game, like why some of them release like bad character, but yet a lot of people relate to those bad characters. It's not because they like the character, it's because of the story, it's because of how the personality go about. Which is the reason why sometimes when you look at a lot of Japanese anime, mangas, or even games, why there is also always the fandom for the bad guys, because they are relatable, because the story of them, the backstory whatsoever, is someone that everyone will understand. So when you kind of like with that mindset, obviously you can't really blame that a lot of game company just now think that, hey, people love bad guys, let's place a bad guy. No, Joker didn't become one of the popular villain in the Marvel history because of he's just a bad guy. It's the ideology or the backstory behind Joker that got a lot of people supporting him in a way. That's why there is always people out there supporting this kind of thing. And always it's kind of funny that when you see copycat who did the real crime in real life and portraying themselves as real life Joker, that's a whole new different story. Now, what I'm trying to highlight in this video is just basically that game company are just all touch about it, and they don't understand that they are going really down the path of destruction. And I already did a video about it, saying that game company is sinking. Now, another thing that had happened in that video that I mentioned about gamer infighting, it seems like the way some people trying to defend or trying to justify the so-called the game is going to win, or the game is just gamers just whining along the line. It's amazing that I have seen quite a few tweet or quite a few so-called posts about people defending the game, all because that people are mad over one image. The thing is, right, it's really not just people are mad over one image. It's that when you understand the full contents, you can't really blame like a lot of gamers trying to attack voice actor, which I don't really agree on. But then again, when you kind of like the voice actor going out to attack people again and again, saying like, hey, this and that, yeah, you really kind of like better question. You have to like, what are they even trying to prove? Damage control? Probably, but the thing is, right, it's really not really just they or those kind of posts trying to indicate that gamers are the so-called weak-minded person, or trying to indicate that people are just sad about game that have been so-called being woke or having DEI, or just because people just want to add in their propaganda into games. Thing is, right, it's really one of the moments where right now that apparently that game journalists trying to help post a good review about gaming nowadays, or even saying like trying to gaslighting gamers or anyone else who is not aware of the issue on DI, to the point that it's getting more and more ridiculous. And it's the first time when I kind of like cover about this kind of journalist myself. But then again, the one that happened recently was to JT-san, where he talked about the lawsuit about one of the so-called online news article which no one have almost heard about, decided to post something called the Gamergate lawsuit behind the journalist as well as the so-called YouTuber is very questionable. And the funny thing is, right, I can't like call out that, not really the news article, but I call out the lawsuit of very ridiculous stuff, where in the first place, it's just basically that the journalist trying to so-called defund JT-san. It's just basically they're trying to force JT-san all his hand, trying to make him use up all his money, and then make him lose every single thing. And even if the journalists lose the case, they are not going to pay a single money. At least that's what their intention, based on what I think. But then again, it's really hard to predict, because there is this the person who loved to say that she loved to have meal PP into her mouth along the line, which apparently it is what she's saying. But the thing is, right, it's really kind of beg the question, like, what the hell is she trying to prove? And then when you look at this kind of article, which kind of like in JD-san indicates, and I actually read the article, I'm not going to share that article, it's again very one line. It's very seems to be lenient. It seems to be like very biased against JD-san, and I kind of like understand that there are like a lot of news article or journalists trying to say journalists save journalists, when a lot of time when you should be like, when you guys have a questionable journalist, you should be calling out the problematic journalists out. You don't go and say just because that they are journalists, you don't call them out. If a game journalist is questionable, it's under the right of everyone to call them out that they did something questionable. They should answer and hold accountability for it. That should be the way to go. But it just seems like not just that, but a lot of game companies are also out there to go and cater their best to the game journalists, and hoping that the game journalists will so-called trying to help them to paint them in the good way. And it's really one of the moments that you bet the question, like, what the hell are they trying to prove? Because if you have a Time magazine to say that the 10 best game of 2024 and the first game is actually Dragon is Veilguard, a game that actually flopped, is actually over Astro Bot, that is claimed to and already won the so-called the best game of the year. Wow. And the best of all is that if you guys go and check out the video on Hillsun, it was indicated as apparently that because it include DEI. Wow. So I guess that Time magazine is also part of the DEI at this point of time, right? If so, then I guess that it's really one of the time where we have to check out Time magazine, because the thing is, right, when you kind of like go towards DI too much, yeah, a lot of people right now are just gonna be saying like, yeah, but we can't trust this kind of article anymore. Because the thing is, right, it's fine to add whatsoever you want to the game, but the thing is, right, you can't really just say that, hey, the best top game is actually because like, I think so. So I guess that if I decided to do my own 10 best game video of 2004, I guess that I have to say that if I could do a list, I think I can easily do a 10 worst game of 2024, and I'm gonna tell you guys that the first on the list is gonna be Veilguard, next followed by Concourse, and then followed by Star Wars Outlaw, and 7 more. You guys can fill it in however you like. I don't care, because the top 3 is already one of the game that is ridiculous. But the thing is, right, joke aside, it's really just showcase a lot of how new article or so-called journalists are just trying to pin a lot of stuff that is trying to put it in their own favor. And it's really one of the moments that they're even trying to, as well as trying to gaslight people, thinking that, hey, game company is going to collab, it's all because gamers don't want to buy games. Thing is, it's very simple. There's a lot of, like, I think Rev actually did a very good way of saying, it's like a lot of people are playing older games than newer games. Not because that the newer games are bad. It's not just because no one wants to buy the newer game. It's actually a simple thing. The new game doesn't appeal to the audience. And it's really bad. The question that I've been saying a lot in my live stream all the time is that when you have a bigger body, when you have a lot of the group of people, that you should be catering towards, you decided to cater towards that 1% of the group, and you're trying to highlight that 1% is the bigger body. You really have to have the question, like, people will be just say that, hey, we are not the bigger body, we are not the so-called targeted audience. Obviously, we won't buy the game, they won't buy the game. It's fair. And the thing is, there is also another reason why people are playing older games. It's because many of the people who bought a lot of older games did not play those games because they have real life commitment or real life stuff they have to took priority first. And they can't buy those games, keep it to the point it became a whole backlog of game. So thing is, when you have a whole backlog of games, what is the best thing to do? Play those games back, get those games, because the game is gonna take up most of their time anyway. So when you can't have that kind of situation happening, you can't really blame game company to say that why is people not buying the game, because gamer will just say that we got our own game already, we already got our point. And if people say that, hey, but we also released new game, thing is, game company, you have to understand one thing now. If people don't like the game, they don't buy the game. And your game didn't appeal to them, it's just that simple. You can't blame them now. So the thing is, right, a lot of them trying to, like, as what Hugh-san actually indicated, that trying to, the so-called newer attempt to say Veilguard, or even like trying to highlight that the game had more dislike, is like they're trying to give some sort of sympathy point along the line. Yeah, it is not going to work. They are going to feel more and more. So the thing is, at this point of time, I'm not sure which article to trust, but more so that even there are articles indicating that even like Ubisoft Financial is going to highlight towards bankruptcy in 2024, apparently. And it's also by highlighted by Pirate Nation as well, that a lot of so-called new game sales went down by 29% in Europe itself. So it just proved to show that a lot of game companies didn't realize that when the game is not catering or being appealed to the audience, the main audience that you're hoping to gain, then obviously you are going to flop, you are going to lose all the money, and that again, like what I've been calling out, they are going to lay off all the employees. And the funny thing is, right, they can just lay off the higher up that has approved this kind of idiotic thing. They can kick out all the problematic employees, keep the best one ever, and make sure that those would go according to plan, and hopefully that all gain back the trust of the audience and release better game. Thing is, even so, it's really kind of the moment that the next thing that happening that really give me a little bit of mixed review, but I'm gonna give you guys the thing and let you guys judge that if my thinking a little bit wrong. So based on what actually happened is that CD Project Red also kind of like being so-called having a lot of the game, apparently like a lot of the employees being so-called out of the company, or they decided to, or in some people words is that they decided to get out of the company and create their own company that actually got the Net East game, which is a Chinese company, to fund it along the line. That as well as that even like big name within the big name company are actually also trying to say that they're going to leave the company, and which mean that in JD-san they say that it's healing, because they, when those kind of game company decide to step out of the company, decide to create their own company and ensure that they are creating a better game. Yeah, I can understand the point of view is that when you have a game company so-called going to create a good game for the gamers, it is a good thing, don't get me wrong. Now here's the thing that actually got me really wonder, because it's firstly so-called funded by China, apparently, alright? So the issue is that being funded by China, a lot of people need to understand that when China step in, isn't like a lot of so-called Chinese game have a lot of like censorship or so-called stuff that is like best not to cater. Yeah, the thing is, right, from what I do understand of, like, if a Chinese game company decides to step into the Western game company, there is a lot of issue on hand that we are maybe overlooking. One of the things is probably that Chinese game is now trying to step into the Western company, so that if they are trying to create a Western game without the so-called the control of the Chinese government, it could probably mean that it would be best if they say that they fund the game but not in control of the creation. So that means that if they kind of highlight that they are funding the company and they want the game to be popular, then in future they already have a market within the Western side. It means that they have a footing within the Western gaming industry, which to them is a good thing, because they can bring that game into their Chinese marketing, right, and at the same time easily catering to the Western audience. And I know that some people will be saying, like, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Well, the thing is that why I have a mixed reaction to it is that because it is a Chinese company. If it's, I'm not saying like Chinese game company are bad, alright, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, if I'm supporting MiHoYo in a way, I'm not saying like bad company all the time. The issue I have like a bit of mixed reaction to it is that a lot of time I've seen online about how Western people are so-called against Chinese company to step into the Western industry. So if a lot of this is happening within the fault of the Western side. Yeah, I think China is now apparently trying to take this advantage to step in. And if those people on the so-called against China, yeah, I think you guys already have shoot yourself in the foot because you are letting this kind of happening under your nose. Now, again, I'm not sure how would it play out. Hopefully that if the game is really, really good and there is no sort of propaganda, I think that's fine, because at the end of the day, gamers just want a good game. That should be the way to go. If there is some sort of like bad ending that is actually the reason why, then I think that my fear should be at least warrant a little bit of weight. Not saying like you have to hold the whole weight, but at least a little bit of concern is there. Now, the second thing about like gaming company having like a lot of their big name leaving, their so-called popular writer or the director leaving the game company, and then they go on to create their game company. The thing is, right, it's fine if they really leave the company and trying to create a better game. But the thing that I have on hand is that, is it just a moment of peace? The thing is, if they end up creating a good game and they grow big, won't that going back to the same issue that they may one day get invaded by the DEI or those kind of parasite along the line? Because the thing is that when the old game company, indeed, let's say they fail or those employees so-called get laid off or the company get bankrupt, the DI itself, it's not just going to die with the company. The people with the ideology, the methodology, or whatever thing it is, they're gonna bring that over and brought it over to the newer company, or even worse, to some of the company in Japan or South Korea or even China. So the issue on hand that we have to be very, very careful is that just because that some people are leaving and that the company is going to fall one day, it's not going to say that the company is going to just remove the idea of DEI or whatever that they are holding on. The people with the idea may end up moving forward to another, because that's the reason why they create the consultation firm. The game company failed is the company failed, but the consultation firm is still alive, and that's what we should be afraid of. And a lot of people just kind of like highlight this, because the thing is, right, a lot of people need to understand that is Celebrate now having a so-called community manager who is from California, who is supporting so-called the gamers and Kotaku. Yeah, it means that the parasite is now laying root. The weed is already there and we need to remove them. And this is really one of the moments that we have to be very, very careful that just because that some company is failing doesn't mean that the DEI is gone. They are moving as well. It is something very concerning, because at the end of the day, even like Naughty Dog trying to say, hey, we love anime, hey, we love all the badass character, when they are remove the butt of the woman or trying to make her look questionable, yeah, it really begs the question, like, are they trying to mock the gamer base, or are they just trying to say that, hey, we also like gamers? It's a very, very questionable thing. So at the end of the day, I really kind of like wondering, like, while they seems to be going down the path of self-destruction, it doesn't mean that through the ashes came out a phoenix. It can just be a normal chicken that is just basically full of bug in it. So the thing is, right, we have to be very, very careful that what kind of bird that is coming out of the hatch, because when you kind of look at it, it's really kind of like very, very questionable on many, many ends, and we need to be very, very careful and at the same time be focused on it, but at the same time not saying like we need to like stem away the DEI, need to stem away the work, because to me the idea behind the original DEI and work is good. It's the problematic people who misuse those things that should be called out, as well as those people who is going around trying to misrepresent all these things should be calling out as well. And that has always seemed to be what I have in mind. And it seems like many people are now just infighting within themselves, not understanding the main rule or issue. It's just basically that at the end of the day, a good game is not just because it's created by a game company, but it's because of the gamers. And what gamers want in a way is just having fun. And there's just so many different gamers out there that at the end of the day, the game company need to do one simple thing: appeal to the gamer base. And by doing that is by ensuring that they do a proper marketing research. But at the end of the day, giving this kind of advice just seems to be going through one of their ear and out the other side. And I don't feel like going to yap about gaming topic every single time or every single day from now on. If there's really like a series of story that I want to talk about, I would put it in one random chat, maybe like a week or two along the line. Because the thing is, I'm tired. I'm legit tired of talking about this kind of issue when one side being wrong doesn't automatically mean the other side is right. It's always, sometimes you just see both sides being wrong and their argument is just too crazy to the point that it doesn't make sense. It's really one of the moments that we really need to sit down and look at the whole story. Like, why is the gaming industry failing? Are you catering to the right audience? Are you appealing to the right audience? And then at the end of the day, when you attack the gamers, are you attacking their intelligence, or are you attacking that you're trying to defend your game company? Because the way I look at it, it just seems that they are just children fighting against each other. And the simple solution for everyone, for all the gamers, if you don't like the game, it's simple. Don't buy the game. You're not the target audience. Just say that you're not the target audience. And to the gamers company, the gaming company, or whatever you call it, if you say that why you are going to fail, why the game is floating, if you are trying to appeal to the audience, look at the audience that you are catering to. Are you catering to 1% of the gamer base, or are you looking at the biggest body, the 99% of the gamer base? If you're looking at that 1%, you can't say you're going to fail, because that 1% is going to be small. Sometimes when you're catering to 99%, while you won't get all 99% of it, at least you get a chunk of that. And that is going to be way more than that 1% you are catering towards. Because at the end of the day, when you're catering to that 1%, not all 1% is going to buy your game. It's that simple. But at the end of the day, it is just my speculative thought. It's just a random chat. It feels like kind of long since I have talked about a random chat this long. But then again, you really can't blame me, because it's really a game that I'm passionate about. And at the end of the day, I feel like when there's so many games of the past that seems to be more fun, more interesting, even like I myself would think that it would be best for me to buy the older game at a cheaper price, because they are better, they are fun. Better than I spending way more money on newer game that doesn't even seem to be logical at this point of time. But hey, what am I to say? Maybe you got your own way of saying, maybe you agree or disagree. You can write in the comment section, we can discuss it further. Do you guys think that old game are better, or do you think that on the part that new game companies should understand the marketing along the line? Who knows? Whatever you want, we can discuss it further anyway. But if not, if you do like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat where I talk about stuff that sometimes makes sense, doesn't make sense, or totally random at time. But the one thing I hope that is not random for you guys is have a nice day, not night. Bye.